Your day and stay safe. From KCRG TV9, this is First Alert Weather Now.
Hello and welcome to the Friday evening edition of First Alert Weather Now for the week, the last of the week. As we wrap things up, we will take a look at what has happened today, what is happening over the weekend, which should be in pretty good shape. And as you're heading out this evening, well, you should be in pretty good shape too. We're going to keep things feeling relatively warm for this portion of the season. And as we head into the weekend in particular, we're going to keep the sunny skies around and a little bit of a breeze too. It's going to feel more like late summer than it will late October. Now, later in our forecast, we do have the opportunity for a few showers. That doesn't arrive until later Monday night when a storm system moves through. The more certain thing about that storm system will be likely a return to something cooler for at least a little while, but not as cold as what we saw earlier this week. And we'll show you the difference looking ahead in your First Alert forecast in just a bit. But set up for tonight, kind of like yesterday, the area of high pressure that's kind of keeping the eastern half of the United States pretty quiet is tracking off to the east. In its wake, a low pressure system with a couple of fronts, a cold front off to our west, getting closer. But it turns out this system is likely just going to kind of diminish as it will be held up and not make it close enough to really influence our weather all that much. Now, our temperatures tonight will be pretty similar to where they wound up last night. If you're headed out this evening, 50s will be where you'll be, so perhaps a jacket, not the worst idea. Tomorrow morning, down in the low 40s. Now, we do have a lot going on this weekend, and meteorologist Joe Winters has today's forecast for fun for the weekend.
It's another Friday. That means we have quiet conditions 8 weeks in a row for your forecast for fun. Take a look at the forecast for Friday Night Lights. Kickoff 7:30 on KCRG 9.2. We'll be in Independence as West Delaware comes to town. 59 at kickoff, 51 in the fourth quarter. Iowa fall foliage report looks great. Great time to see some leaves, especially northeastern Iowa. Get out and enjoy and get those pictures to us. We'd love to see those. In fact, your fall activities forecast tomorrow looks very nice. The winds will be a bit lighter than today. We'll start in the 40s, end the day somewhere in the 70s. The pumpkin patch forecast then as we head through the next couple of days shows warmth from today all the way up to 80 on Sunday. So again, lots to enjoy out at the pumpkin patch. You can certainly do that, and plenty of chilies. 25 tastings possible at the chili cook-off in Mount Vernon. That runs Saturday from 4 to 7. Afternoon temperature about 76 degrees. The Fall Day Market at Lowell Park looks good as well over in Marion, 9 to 3. That comes up on Saturday as well. And don't forget the Cedar Rapids Central Fire Station Truck or Treat. That's on Sunday from 1 to 3. Costume contest, candy for the kids. It's going to be family friendly and great. And of course, on Saturday night, we don't want to miss the Not of This World Parade. It starts at 6:30, steps off Newbo to Czech Village route. The broadcast on KCRG 9.2 with Becky Phelps and I will begin at 8:30. Should be a beautiful weekend to enjoy the parade and a beautiful weekend for some forecasts for fun.
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Corey Thompson.
Thanks, Joe. And he's right. The side effect of all this very quiet weather we've had recently is some pretty excellent weather to get out and about. Now, the unfortunate side effect of that quiet weather is the dryness that we've been experiencing. Burn bans continue across much of the TV9 viewing area north of Interstate 80. A couple exceptions, Marshall, Tama, Blackhawk counties, as well as Jones, Allen McKee. But many other areas have that in place. A combination of some stronger winds, certainly very warm temperatures as we head into the weekend, and still fairly dry air does make the risk of fires getting out of control a little bit higher than usual. So we do want you to think about perhaps avoiding those outdoor burning situations as you head into the weekend, or at least doing them at times where the winds are lighter. Now, that, of course, is if you live in an area that is not under a burn ban. If you do obey those, remember that could be result if in a simple misdemeanor rather, if you are caught and they decide to enforce that ban. Use extra caution using outdoor equipment in these situations, and of course, don't throw your cigarette butts out the window. Now, our Waverly City Cam, if it was popping up, would show a very dry set of ground conditions. There it is. You can see how brown that grass is on the campus at Wartburg. Temperatures there at 66, 63 in Dubuque. Our dew points are down in the upper 20s to mid-30s, so they are a little bit higher than yesterday. That trend's going to continue a little bit as we go into the weekend. But your first alert over the next 24, keeping things dry. Winds a little bit lighter than what we've seen the past couple of days, and so it should make for a really nice weekend, as Joe discussed. Now, our first alert forecast tonight. 41 in Cedar Rapids, 45 in Charles City. A little bit warmer to the northwest. Mostly clear skies expected, and those winds tapering off a bit. Your forecast tomorrow also involves 70s. 74 in Maquoketa, 76 in Charles City, 77 in Oskaloosa. Everyone a handful of degrees warmer than today, and that's a process that we're going to repeat as we head through the rest of the weekend. That includes Saturday, mid-70s there, Sunday into the low 80s. Plenty of sunshine on both days. Dry weather expected for both days as well, so don't expect any big changes there. 5-day forecast in terms of winds. Pretty good wind coming out of the south for several more days, but then it's Wednesday when they start to switch. Coming from a northwesterly direction, pulling in some cooler air and sending our temperatures lower, but that will actually be a fairly temporary situation. We look at the very tail end of the month, October 25th through the 31st. Climate Prediction Center has the eastern 2/3 of the United States, anywhere east of the Rockies, very favored for above normal temperatures to continue. We are also favored for above normal precipitation during that time frame, something to keep an eye on. Right now, most of our 9-day forecast is pretty dry, but there is some tendency toward the very tail end of it that things may get a bit more active as we wrap up the month. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. First alerts to it when those rain chances become a little clearer between now and then. Now, there's that dip in temperatures going down to the 60s for the second half of the work and school week next week, but overall, staying above normal for most of that. We're not going to see a drastic swing there. Nothing as chilly as what we saw over the weekend. Now, we obviously have had a lot going on in the sky lately. Meteorologist Joe Winters takes a look at what you would not want to miss looking up and beyond the weather.
One of the nice things about this time of the year is our atmosphere, because it's very dry, allows us to have very clear skies at night. And we've had ample opportunity to take a look at some prominent things beyond the weather, and still a great opportunity to do that. Comet Chuchin Atlas, that still is visible until the 19th or 20th. It's getting a little higher in the sky each and every night, and also a little bit less prominent, but you can still find it. Take a look at our western sky about 45 minutes after sunset. You do need an unobstructed view of the western horizon to be able to see it well. Give your eyes time to adjust, and sometimes the night mode on your phone will give you the best look at it. You look for a bright downward spike with an upward pointing tail, and again, as we said, prominent until the 19th or 20th, and if you miss this, it'll be 80,000 years before you can see it once again. Comet Chuchin Atlas still visible in our sky. Another thing visible in our skies we had through the early morning hours of October 21st is the constellation Orion, marked certainly by those 3 bright dots that indicate the Orion's belt. But more importantly, if you find the constellation Orion those early mornings, that's going to be the peak of our Orionid meteor shower. We're looking for meteors in the southeast sky about 10 to 20 per hour in the darkest possible location. Should be fun as well. There's some moonlight that may affect that, but again, if you get out early enough, you'll be able to see that. Now, the Orionid meteor shower has actually been going on since September 26th. It goes to the 22nd, but that's when the peak is in that late part of October. The next meteor shower to look forward to would be the Leonids in late November, early December. And then as we head toward late December, the Geminids will peak, and then the Ursids as we head through the end of the month as well. So again, put those down on your meteor shower calendar for 2024, and we'll look ahead to 2025 later in the month. Always fun to see the International Space Station. We can as well on Sunday morning, 5:33. It'll be visible for 5 minutes at maximum height, about 53 degrees off the horizon. It's going to appear in the east and disappear in the east northeastern sky. Our moon phases, we've just passed that harvest moon. Now we head to the last quarter on the 24th. Our new moon's on the 1st of November, and our first quarter happens on November 8th. As far as our viewing forecast, green means good viewing, and really as you watch eastern Iowa in the overnight hours, we pretty much have green color. That means some clear sky and some, again, lower humidities. Should be some beautiful nights to take a look at some stargazing across eastern Iowa. As far as rocket launches, October 29th at noon, SpaceX Falcon 9 goes off from launch pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center. Blue Origin has a launch coming up from the Cape as well in November, and the Axiom Mission 4 is expected to launch sometime in November, again, helping us go back to the moon. And want to mark October 26th, if you haven't already on your calendar, a public event from the Cedar Amateur Astronomers at the Palisade Dow's Observatory at 7 p.m. How to build a space mission, the story of tracers, and we'll talk about a spring of 2025 launch and impacts of the sun and solar wind on the Earth. So there's a lot going on across eastern Iowa in the skies beyond the weather.
And like Joe highlighted there, lots of good weather this weekend to check out some of those things. The kind of key here is those mostly clear skies and those warmer temperatures at night. That really does help some of that stargazing. Not quite as cold. You don't have to bundle up quite as much. Now, Sunday in particular, our daytime highs will be quite warm, 81 degrees on average. That puts us within striking distance of some of these record highs for the day. Now, Cedar Rapids falling a little bit short. I think in most cases we will fall just a little bit short, but just goes to show that these temperatures, even though we've been used to them so far this season, it's been such a warm stretch. It's a little bit out of the ordinary here for this time of year. Now, Monday night, a storm system approaches. We've been highlighting this over the last several days because it really is our lone chance for precipitation, at least in the immediate future. Monday itself dry, but by later Monday night, early Tuesday morning, some of the shower activity could work its way into eastern Iowa, and the net result will be that drop in temperatures. Slow at first, but more pronounced later in the week. It's here as we get toward Thursday, where we'll get to our coldest, especially during the morning, where some frosty conditions are possible. But even that dip, not going to drop us below normal even at that stage. Our normal highs by then will be in the upper 50s, and so we will likely stay above that. And the return to even warmer conditions looks to be on after that too. Next weekend pushes us back into the 70s. That is at that point 15 to 20 degrees above normal, so we just can't shake these unusually warm temperatures. Looks like October will finish above average almost certainly at this point, but of course we still have a few more days left. We have a few days to enjoy for your weekend. Looks like the weather's really going to allow for it. Thanks for joining us tonight on First Alert Weather Now. Right back here Monday night, 6:30 and all through next week. Have a great weekend.